Good morning. It is our last morning in Moab, I guess.
We're leaving Moab today.
We're leaving Moab today.
But I wish I weren't leaving that bed.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. That bed was so comfy. And then Hoki came and cuddled.
She's snuggled.
So yeah, Greta was laying on this side and then Hoka was laying on my other shoulder. It was pretty hard to leave bed this morning. We gotta pack up the last little bit of things. I know that. Yes, I can tell that you're very excited. We gotta pack up the last few things here, and then on the road to Capitol Reef National Park. So I started packing up things, and one of the things is Hoka's bag. And unfortunately, someone has realized that we are not going to be staying here for an extended period of time. This was only a stopping point. Well, it is a frosty morning. You can really see it on the chili here. Becky, oh yeah, you can definitely see it on the top there. It is a frosty morning here in Moab. We're just kind of packing up the last little bits of our stuff to make sure that we're gonna have everything with us on the next section of our travel. But some of the stuff from my car, no, actually, I don't think anything from my car ended up in yours, but some of your stuff ended up in my car. So.
What about your hiking boots and your bear spray? That ended up in my car.
Yeah, exactly. I already put the bear spray over there, so now I just gotta move the hiking boots. Which I totally forgot to glue these hiking boots. So, that's a little bit of a bummer, but oh well. So, we'll just shove them right there for now, and then other stuff will go on top of that. But the back of the RAV is all packed up and all closed up with the bike rack on there. So, now it's just filling in the last little empty gaps of space. Okay, well, little Hoka and I are gonna take a little bit of a walk while Greta does one last walkthrough of the Airbnb. Ooh, look at those two cars stanced up so well right next to each other. And then we are going to be on our way to our first national park of the day. Well, we're on the road. However, this section of road is so like grooved down and up. You'll get to see Greta go. Coming out of here, remember it's dip. Yep, I'm getting ready to angle. So you can see Greta bouncing her way through. And I have the bike rack. So we're gonna try to angle, oh, nice. And then angle back down across. Oh, no scraping, we did it. Okay, well, we didn't make it very far. We are at the Maverick, literally like one street up from where we were. So Greta's getting the pump already, and then we're gonna share the gas pump, which will just be nice. So yeah. I'm a little bit lower than I think she is, but we got a lot of driving to do today, so timing these fill-ups is going to be important.
Hello, little baby girl, baby girl, baby girl. Hello, little baby girl, how are you? Yeah, I know, it's pretty early in the trip. You're not ready for this yet. You're not settled in. So I really like Moab's exiting sign because it says discover Moab again and again, something along the lines of the adventure never ends. Exactly. That's such a good, instead of thank you for visiting or thank you for your business, it's like, yeah, come back. Like, come on, discover it again and again. This is an amazing place. Don't worry, the rocks are still beautiful. Well, speed limit is 80 miles an hour, so let's get up to speed. Well, we have just around an hour left until we reach Capitol Reef State Park. We got some sand on either side of us right now, but we're headed towards some pretty big mountains out in the distance there. But Greta and I were talking about this landscape, and while like the mountains are absolutely gorgeous in the distance and like the red rocks are really cool, we're ready for some real trees, like full-size trees that are not in a pecan orchard, ready to, yeah, be back in a forest. I miss it. So we found a place to stop because I was getting a little sleepy, needed to stretch my legs. However, we have come to Hollow Mountain. And yeah, well, it looks like we're gonna be headed inside of a cave. Not in that one where they store the explosives. Over into this one. I think they're open.
So I'm in the cave bathroom, and they have this great long sign about how the government tells them you need to put this sign up. But in reality, you should know how to wash your hands, which I think is fair. It was quite amusing. Enjoy.
Okay, well that was an interesting experience. That dude in there definitely likes his job. Greta got some barbecue chips, and I got some normal Pringles to hold us over for our next little stint of driving here. But yeah, now we are going to be headed to Capitol Reef National Park. It's about 40 minutes away, so we should get there pretty soon. There are a couple of little muleys walking across the road here. So Greta had to slow down. Well, over to the side here, we got some, if it'll focus on the mountains instead of the water droplets on the window. Well, you can see it over here better. These are like really sandy mountains where they've just kind of started to collapse, but then there'll be small sections of rock that are just like holding on in there, which make them these super tall mountains. Very different landscape. They're all just like gray, no real color to them. Look at this valley. Oh, road's a little bumpy, but holy cow. This looks beautiful with the jagged rocks in the distance and the smooth rolling hills over to our side here. What a contrast of landscapes. Insane. Well, according to the signage along the side of the road, we have now crossed into Capitol Reef National Park. Greta's up there ahead a little bit. You can see some of the beautiful red rocks over there, leading to some of these crazy colored mountains in the distance. Oh, well, we have officially made it to Capitol Reef National Park. And look at the size of that rock. There's some really cool rocks.
Okay.
So I have some Snapdragon sour diesel hash rosin along. Fun fact, that's legal in all the states that we travel to. So we're all the way down at the base of this mountain, and there's these like fossilized rocks. Oh, I guess rocks aren't fossilized, there's fossils in the rock. But Greta's in the visitor center right now, and Hoka and I are going for a little walk because she isn't allowed inside. So, hey, leave that alone. So I don't know what these fossils are yet, other than that there are fossils. Okay, well, we are now going to head to Fish Lake State Park, which has a very cool collection of aspen trees. However, we have like no service. So Greta is going to direct us in the general direction, and I am going to try to get service for the area that we're actually going to see these aspen trees. But yeah, at the moment we're kind of going blind. What's up, editor Logan here, currently editing the video. Notice I didn't really say anything here. So facts about Capitol Reef National Park. It's called the Capitol because there was a dome that looks like the United States Capitol dome. It was called a reef because it was impassable and sharp, like a reef. The things that I thought were fossils were not fossils, they're lava rocks. Yeah, so no reef, not a capital. Yeah, kind of odd naming convention if you ask me. So back to the video. So finally got enough service that we were able to get the aspen trees put into the GPS, and now we got 50 minutes of driving through some more absolutely beautiful red rock country until we get there. And I guess to be fair, Greta still does not have directions. I have directions, mine loaded, but hers did not. So she's waiting for directions from me. However, we're just cruising on here for like another 20 miles before we continue straight for like another 20 miles. So we have entered the Fish Lake National Forest now, and we are closing in about 12 minutes away from the aspen tree. So Greta now has the directions into her GPS. She knows where we're going, but look at this beautiful landscape. It is just so empty and open. It's gorgeous. Okay, we have reached our turnoff for Fish Lake. So luckily this section is still going to be pretty paved while we head back up in towards the aspen trees. So we are now fully into Fish Lake National Park.
Somebody else here.
And this is Fish Lake. So back behind us is the Pando Aspen clone. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But Greta is being drawn to the water, so I'm following her. So we're gonna turn around and go back to one of the other parking areas.
There's the water.
I know, isn't it so exciting? We got water, we got full-size trees.
It's a miracle.
It may only be the parking lot, but Hoka is so happy to be on snow again. Ooh, those are some deer prints. We did have some more ravens that were hanging out with us. However, while Greta reads this thing, I'll briefly explain why we came here. So, Fish Lake National Forest is home to the Pando Aspen clone, which is behind us over here. This aspen clone is of pretty much its entire own little forest of genetically identical aspen trees. And I don't know, as a person who likes trees, as a person who likes nature, it's always interesting when nature does something that we just really don't see anywhere else. Creating an entire forest of like trees, insane. So now I think we're gonna learn why this is actually called Fish Lake.
Nope.
What's it tell you?
It talks about the old Spanish Trail. It was a trail between Santa Fe and Pueblo de los Angeles in the Mexican territory between 1829 and 1848. Basically, you could take this instead of the longer trail, but I would imagine they only took it over the summer because it goes up. So like they're saying how it's like has like nice water and fish. I guess it maybe a fish lake, but
Yeah.
they would use this as like a cutoff to make the trail a little bit faster.
Nice. And so,
I think that's what those guys are over there.
yeah, there's these metal cutouts that are supposed to represent the people coming on the trail. Kind of cool. So yes, it was just a stop along the route, but some facts that I gave in the Instagram video that I didn't give on here, there are around 47,000 trunks, individual trunks that are coming up out of the ground. However, they all share one root system. It covers like 106 miles. That's way too. It's 106 acres. I said that wrong. So it is 106 acres, making it the largest tree by land mass at over 13.2 million pounds. This thing is just a crazy, crazy piece of nature. Always wanted to see it, so I'm glad that we finally made it. Okay, so we stopped at this beautiful vista to take some pictures over the valley, but it's also given me an opportunity to get my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, mother!
It's okay.
It didn't fall out of the bag. We're all good. You ready to go to
Great Basin.
Great Basin National Park? That's right. There's a third place today. We're still going. Poor Hoka. But how far is it going to be this one? 2 hours?
That was like 3.
3 hours. Okay, well,
I guess let's get on the
Get
road.
on the road, yeah.
Well, Greta just let me know that apparently we are not.
Oh, but this is where we gain an hour back.
Ooh. So there's a possibility that the visitor center would be open when we get there. So does that mean they close earlier? Or they close later?
No, they close at 5. The GPS right now says we get there at 5:58, but we'll actually get there at 4:58.
Oh, okay. So either way, we're cutting it close.
Yeah, I'm not super hopeful we get to the visitor center, but we'll still go to the park.
Yeah, we'll still get to see the park. Well, we made it down off the previous mountain. We have passed through some beautiful winding roads, and now we're about to descend down into another valley before I think we're headed up that mountain too. We are going to stop for gas though, because I'm starting to get a little bit low, but you know, we're getting there. 2 hours, 30 minutes remaining. Not too bad. So we are now entering the Great Basin National Historic Region, something like that. So the park is somewhere in, I guess, all of this. So we're driving through this beautiful valley with the mountains on either side. But there's like this water in the middle with the mountains in the distance. I don't know, something about that. That's picturesque. Well, it was bound to happen at some point. Pulling into the gas station, we scraped. Oh yeah, no, it flattened it up into there. So that, it do what it do. But the lock mechanism's still protected, so that's all that really matters. We stopped here at Hillside Farms. It's a Conoco station. And where are we? Is it like Scipio? As you can tell by the Scipio Hotel, we are still in Utah. Is Great Basin National Park in Utah? Oh, it's in Nevada. Cool. Well, in that case, I think I'm gonna go in and go to the restroom after we finish filling up here. And just like that, we are back onto the road, but unfortunately, 2 hours and 9 minutes
We're actually getting on an interstate again.
is gonna put us there a little after the visitor center closes. But yeah, holy cow, the first interstate we've been on in a while. So we are further into the Great Basin Heritage Area, and as you can see, there are mountains all around us and nothing but basin with us. So we've been driving for a little while now. We still got an hour and 20 minutes until we actually get to the national park, but we passed some like ranches and stuff, and it looked pretty cool. It looked very like old westy. However, we did pass a sign for a town of Deseret, which if you're familiar with any of like the Mormon church history, Deseret shows up in a lot of different ways. However, it refers to the honeybees, and so like the beehive that is on the signs and everything is a representation of the state of Deseret, which was the name given by the Mormons to the area before we called it Utah. So we passed a town that was called Deseret, and someone was turning towards it, so Greta and I had a little bit of a discussion about that, because I did a random dive on the Mormons a little while ago, mostly just to like learn more about its like founding and everything. But so passing through Utah is kind of interesting, getting to see some of the different stuff pop up. But the mountains around us are, it's interesting because they've like shifted to blue. So yes, like part of it is that it's getting to the evening, the sun's going down over there. However, the mountains are just like blue in the distance because, well, of all the atmospheric distortion. Changing like visible light spectrum or whatever it is, so that it appears bluer in the distance kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Blue Ridge Mountains and the way that they're like that as well.
But yeah, we are still driving, so maybe I'll check in with you in a little bit, but if not, see you in an hour, or in your case, a few seconds. So we are descending even further into the basin. We're about 30 minutes out now, but this sunset is absolutely beautiful with the mountains in the background, just looking incredible. It just keeps getting better and better. Look at this view. There's some kind of like haze on the road up ahead, so it might be getting a little bit dusty here. So we're gonna take this a little cautious. Oh yes, we definitely got, it's not bad, but we definitely got ourselves a little bit of a dust storm going on here. And we just crossed into Nevada.
Welcome to Nevada.
That's an interesting way to say it. So the GPS...
Nevada National Park, man.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're at... Well, no, that's letting us know that there's an archaeological site in 2 miles, but this is supposedly where we're supposed to turn to get to the visitor center.
If you just look straight ahead, it kind of just looks like the road ends.
Okay, well, we have made it to the Great Basin National Park Visitor Center. Greta's getting out, getting ready to let Hoka walk around. So we are at Great Basin National Park, and well, the visitor center is...
We missed the visitor center by like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so they're
But we're not
closed.
going to be those people.
But we're still gonna look around because there's still some signage, and we want to understand a little bit better, because what we were driving through was absolutely beautiful. And so, like, where we are here. So it's like
On the
over
other
there.
side.
Yeah.
So we were in Snake Valley.
Snake Valley was beautiful. So where is the Great Basin? Well, it's that. That kind of makes sense. So it covers quite a large area through this.
Oh my.
You do have a nice little viewing area to walk out through. Yeah. Looking out to the big mountains. So I'm assuming that is Jeff Davis Peak.
Peep.
Way out there. And then the little bump next to it is Wheeler Peak.
And then the one off in the distance with the snow.
The one off in the distance with the snow.
Pyramid Peak.
Pyramid Peak. Well, it looks
Whereas
like
the one to the right in front of it,
that one?
No.
The little one?
that one,
Yep.
is false Pyramid Peak.
They're real creative with their naming here. Okie dokie. Well, the park is closed. Lights are turning on and everything now. So we have about an hour drive left to... I gotta turn my radio on. I see we got our little walkies. We got about an hour until we make it to Eli. However, we did get an hour back, so it should only be like 6:30 by the time that we actually get to the hotel. Okay, well, we have made it to the Highway 50 motel. Hotel? I don't know. Inn. It's the Highway 50 Inn. Greta's car is over there, but she just ran inside to get everything checked in and figure out where we're going to be going. There's a little bit more to Eli than I was expecting, but it's still a pretty small town. So hopefully we'll be able to, I don't know, get into a room soon and start relaxing. Okay, so what is up, dude? Greta has suggested that I take a little bit closer look at the microwave.
As I'm ready to heat up dinner.
Ooh, we got a few different settings on there.
I've never used a microwave.
With a
timer.
dial? Really?
With a dial.
Nah, this is gonna be nice and easy. Okay, so we're gonna set this to medium heat, and then we're just gonna set it for the amount of time that we want it to go for.
Let's not do 3 minutes. Do
wanna
it like
do-
for a minute.
A minute?
A
Really?
minute, yes, a minute. And then stir it and set it in for another minute.
Overly cautious.
Yeah, because it's a microwave I've never used before, and it's my nice container.
Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have a comment, leave that down below. And you can always hit that little subscribe button over there. There'll be a notification bell that pops up next to it. That way you're notified every time a new video comes out. Also, there will pop up a thing here that you could subscribe that way, and YouTube will suggest 2 videos that they think you'd like. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.